In the headlines, the Ministry of Agriculture goes back to the drawing board to improve service delivery for farmers and other stakeholders. Air access into Dominica on the front burner for the Discover Dominica Authority as new hotel projects near start date of operations. And the DAT wants implementation of the job classification project and the OECS career path for teachers. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Ministry of Agriculture embarks on a 3-day planning workshop to improve the sector. Julian Morris has that story.
This is in an effort to improve the performance and delivery of services to the farming community and other stakeholders. During the workshop, the planning and monitoring processes of the ministry will also be reinforced. The representative who is facilitating this workshop says the goal is to have a results-based strategic plan, taking into account the immediate reality and impact of climate change.
There's nothing we can do about climate and the weather, absolutely nothing we can do. But we can take steps to make sure that we can survive and adapt to whatever the weather throws at us up to a certain level. So therefore, again, I'm coming down to the one message I would like to leave. Planning is important, but please don't let us make planning the end all to everything. Planning can only take us up to a certain level to get us a plan on paper. What we do with that paper after, in terms of executing, it is more important than the plan itself. And the other critical part is being able to adjust as things change.
Plan B is also to be developed as unknown factors will affect the implementation and success of the initial plan.
Also importantly, the ability to identify risks and be able to have a plan B or plan C and manage them as they go along, because no plan is ever perfect, no plan is without risks. There's always something that comes to derail the plan. We have to plan for that as well. So if we don't identify those derailing elements, we will not be able to deal with it when they come on the track, and therefore we're going to take ourselves 3 or 4 steps backward and find ourselves always having to start back at the same level and start from scratch. And because resources are very scarce, we can't afford to waste them. And when I say resources, I don't just mean financial resources from donors. I mean our own time, our own efforts.
Among the intended outcomes of the planning workshop are the provision of a revised version of the ministry's strategic plan and the development of the division's work plan for the 2019-2020 cycle.
For us in the ministry, and as articulated by Ms. Francis, the strat plan is a living document. It is not a static document that you do it now and you leave it and that is it. Things change as we adapt to the environmental changes, as we adapt to the political changes. We will look at changing our document to ensure that we are meeting the demands of one of our stakeholders, but also as is indicated by our principals, the government of Dominica.
The 3-day workshop runs from the 16th to the 18th of July.
In educational developments, government being asked yet again to implement the recommendations of studies conducted years ago on the teaching service. The call comes from the Dominica Association of Teachers DAT, as that union recently submitted its salary proposal to government.
Some of the highlights of our proposal is we're asking for the government implement the OECS career path for teachers. That was done some time ago, and the government has never implemented it. So we're asking that they implement that. We're also asking that government revisit the job description and reclassification project, because we think, especially for teachers, because we think that our teachers will benefit from that thing. Because government spent money for that project, but they never implemented anything about it. So we're asking that they revisit this document. In terms of salaries, at our meeting in January, our teachers asked us that we ask for 5% in the first year, 5% in the second year, and 5% in the third year.
The DAT would also like to see the ministry take a hands-on approach to the appointment of educators.
The post of deputy principals of schools, we have the view that it should not be just the principals doing it, but the principals along with the Ministry of Education appointing persons as deputy principals of schools. Also, we're looking at if we're trying to get some concession for our principals, those who want to buy a motor vehicle and that kind of thing. If we can get some sort of concession, either for duty-free or tax concession for them and that sort of thing. Also, too, looking at our in terms of, we're very concerned about the non-appointment of our teachers. There are many teachers in the service who are trained and not appointed, and that means for years, we're talking about years not appointed.
On to tourism matters, proprietor of Jungle Bay Resort and Spa, Sam Raphael, has highlighted the tremendous opportunities for Dominicans having so many new hotel projects spring up around the country. Using Jungle Bay as an example, Raphael noted that job opportunities exist and will be created not just in the establishment of a supply chain.
Employment is great. We need a lot of people to work. Right now we employ 60 people at Jungle Bay. Our first phase just opened. We opened with 30 rooms. We're going to be opening the remaining rooms. We'll have 85 rooms this time next year, a little before that I hope, and we'll employ about 175 people. But that's just less than half of the people that will earn a livelihood from Jungle Bay. Because more people than that will be supplying, more families than that will benefit from supplying the hotel.
Raphael says a quality service to guests is key, and that will make the difference between the success and the failure of any establishment.
We actually opened for guests on June 1, and we got a lot of repeat guests. They couldn't wait to come back to Jungle Bay. Now, this is not the same Jungle Bay that they aim to, but they came not to see the buildings that's looking so nice, but they came to see us, right? Because we made them feel so good and so connected, and every year they come like a club, and that's what they do.
Some of the other hotels under construction on the island currently include Cabris Resort and Spa Kempinski, Anichi Resort and Spa, and Secret Bay. In other news, while Europe is experiencing heat waves, North America, Central America, and the Caribbean are also at risk.
The situation could worsen between July and August with adverse impact on human health. In view of the current heat waves in Europe and predictions that this phenomenon will hit various parts of the Americas, the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, is urging countries in the region to be prepared. This is due to the impact that this could have on people's health, including the risk of death. During the Southern Hemisphere summer of 2018-2019, 7 countries in the Americas were affected by heat waves, a phenomenon never seen before in the region. 2 of the heat waves that have had the greatest impact since 2000 include one in Brazil in 2010, which caused the death of 737 people. The other was in Argentina in the summer of 2013-2014, which caused 1,877 deaths. According to health authorities in the United States, heat waves are the natural phenomenon that causes the highest number of deaths in that country. Weather forecasts for North America, Central America, and the Caribbean predict heat waves during the summer of 2019. This could increase drought-induced stress, lead to forest fires, and have harmful effects on human health.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You will expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
Welcome back. 8 plant nurseries under construction to supply Dominica with 1 million trees. The plant nurseries are part of the overall project of developing a resilient environment through the National Beautification Project, which was launched last week, and the Reforestation Project, which got underway several months ago.
The nurseries presently are in construction. I believe by the end of August, mid-August, end of August, they should be properly constructed, and plant production will start in September 1st or month end August. That's our timeline we're trying to meet. Well, it was a program brought about by the government of Dominica where they assisted to finance 8 nurseries in different locations.
2 plant nurseries are already established at the Botanic Gardens, producing plants for both the beautification and reforestation programs.
For the beautification, presently we have over 20,000 plants in hands, but we are looking to produce more plants. We have 2 nurseries in the Botanic Gardens, and we are producing 8 nurseries in strategical locations island-wide. These 8 nurseries are more or less to produce plants for the National Reforestation Program, which is our other program, but we'll also be working together to produce ornamental plants and forestry species as well.
Under the National Reforestation Project, a wide variety of trees will be replanted, both to add to those lost through the hurricane and to restore stability to the riverbanks and coastlines.
The National Reforestation Project is one I see of great need, because after Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria, we experienced a number of tragedies, like for example landslides, and our riverbanks got overflowed and the riverbank got destroyed. So we're trying to produce species for land stabilization, because a lot of houses got affected by floods, by landslides, etc. So we want to bring species to protect the sea line, the seashore. So we plant species such as sea grapes, almonds, tambourine itself, kenip, and other species that are able to absorb the salt from the sea, the salinity.
Londonderry, Batley and Lubia are among the areas where the reforestation program has begun. Air access into Dominica remains a critical issue if new hotel projects in the country are to be successful. Representatives of Cabris Resort and Spa Kempinski recently met with officials of Discover Dominica Authority to discuss the issue.
Getting to Dominica is very difficult. But they mentioned a lot of positive and exciting things about airlines being able to come here, bigger airlines, national airlines from the United States, maybe a few flights from New York or Miami, wherever they're planning. But it's something that's being spoken about, and it's something that's going to be coming soon. So this is very exciting. Bringing people is the most important thing here. You know, Portsmouth is a town that everywhere you walk, you see something exciting, you see something new, you see it's a beautiful town, no? But there's still a lot of things we will also help as Kempinski. When you have a 150-room hotel coming to a town, it brings more than just rooms. You know. It brings jobs, it brings people. I mean, Ross University, there was, I think, 1,000 students, right? Well, we have 151 rooms. That's 2 people per room. That's 300 people that spend minimum $600-700 for the cheapest room, up to, I mean, a presidential suite will go up to $5,000-6,000. So these are people that are going to spend more money than the people that used to stay here at Ross. You know, so it's going to bring a lot of money into the economy. It's going to bring a lot of jobs. So we really look forward to grow, and we look forward to growing with all of you.
The Antigua and Barbuda government says its future plans for cash-strapped regional airline LIAT is to have it fly as far north as Florida. The airlines will also make stops in Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. Antigua is seeking to become the largest shareholder government of the airline. Antigua is in negotiations with Barbados to acquire most of that country's shareholding in the Antigua-based airline. Antigua's current shareholding of 34% would increase to 81% if negotiations with Barbados are successfully completed. Antigua is seeking to acquire the LIAT shares owned by Barbados through a takeover of the liability of Barbados to the CDB. And Cuba has revised down by about 15% its forecast for the number of tourists visiting this year. This after a U.S. ban on cruise ship stopovers. Cuba's Minister for Tourism says, open quote, despite the U.S. government's measures to curb tourism, Cuba will welcome 4.3 million visitors in 2019, close quote. Manuel Marrero told Parliament this is approximately 15% down on forecasts of 5.1 million tourists in 2019 and approximately 10% lower than the number of visitors in 2018. According to official figures, nearly 900,000 tourists visited the island on cruise ships last year, and almost 40% were American. Cuba seemed set to welcome record numbers of U.S. cruise ship tourists this year. In the first 4 months of this year, 250,000 arrived, double the rate of the previous year. After the sale of medical services, tourism is Cuba's second biggest source of earnings, bringing revenues estimated at $2.5 billion per year.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Ministry of Agriculture goes back to the drawing board to improve service delivery for farmers and other stakeholders. Air access to Dominica on the front burner for the Discover Dominica Authority as new hotel projects approach start of operations. And the DAT wants to see the implementation of the Job Classification Project and the OECS Career Path for teachers. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.